Hello again, YouTube. Flame Visit here, and hello, Monster Hunter Wilds fans. Um, Today we're going to talk about some greatsword builds that I have tested out, and I'm happy to just talk to you about them and how great greatsword is. Now, because the greatsword is mostly a weapon that uses single strikes or it doesn't do multi-hit attacks. It really just does one really big strike that's charged up. It tends to have its builds lean towards getting the most attack, most raw attack possible. So it doesn't care really about critical status or critical element. It doesn't really care about element. It just wants raw damage, raw power. So a lot of the builds will probably be the same. I'm guessing that's the case. And so there's going to be a lot of commonality to all of these builds. And we're going to talk about what these commonalities are. Almost all greatsword builds will use an Artian greatsword because it has three decoration slots, which is amazing. No other weapon has that. It is an endgame weapon, so fantastic. Plus, because of the mechanic where you build and upgrade the greatsword, you can put as much attack power as you want when you have the right attack parts. If you match all of the elements, you even get a free element. So if you make all the parts attack, you get a lot of attack. If you want a lot of affinity, you can do that too. Now, there is a bit of gotcha with the rolls for the greatsword, but you can work towards like fixing that if you either save scum or you just keep farming for parts and go for the gotcha the normal way. You can do that. For greatswords, you'd also want to use mostly focus, crit boost, and also offensive guard, which is the guardian decoration. Because of our emphasis for perfect guards and basically activating the extra attack bonus from that ability, all greatswords should really have that as part of their build. So the armor skills that are very meta for greatsword is maximum might. I wouldn't have touched this in Monster Hunter World because you had access to critical eye. With critical eye, you get affinity without having to worry about stamina in Monster Hunter World. But in Wilds, you don't get access to critical eye as an armor deco. It is a weapon deco. Therefore, you can never stack enough of critical eye to get enough affinity to make it worth it. Basically, you're stuck with maximum might at 3, and you really have to have this in all of your builds in order to get that, critical hit, that extra 30% affinity that you're gonna want for greatsword builds. So there's that. Okay, so this build is the good old reliable, trustworthy, kind of boring build. It is weakness exploit 5, agitator 5. It has maximum might, just like I said, all the builds will. And it has second wind, which is the Guardian Fulgur set's bonus, which gives you a small stamina bar that makes it so that if you use this small stamina bar and you don't access your normal stamina bar, you always have uptime on your maximum might. So it consists of the Guardian Fulgur Helm Beta, Arc Vulcan Beta, Guardian Fulgur Vambraces Beta, Arc Vulcan Beta, and the Dahad Shardgreaves Beta. It does require that the monster get enraged, and they typically will do either 2 or 3 enrages when you're fighting them, but there's no way to control that. But the uptime on weakness exploit is good, and having the second wind means that your uptime on maximum might will always be good as well. And so Counter-Strike having such a large window will always be well, not always be on, but it'll be on the majority of times, especially if you're playing bad and you're getting hit, or if you're tanking through those attacks with a tackle or a rocksteady mantle. So this set tops off at about 1,432 attack with about 55% affinity, and it can get a total of 85%, you know, theoretically, with weakness exploit if you're hitting the weak spots. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good for this set. But everything has to line up, just like I said. The monster has to be enraged for that to happen. But that is the max that this set could do. Now, the next interesting one that we have, which is slightly different from this, is weakness exploit 4 agitator 5, and it uses the Gore Magala set in addition to the Guardian Fulgur set. So it uses Guardian Fulgur Helm, it uses the Numinous Shroud beta, and that's from the new Zoshia monster that, well, it's not new, but it's the new armor for that monster, the Guardian Fulgur Vambraces, and now it uses Gore Coil beta and Gore Greaves beta. So what's good about this one? Well, it has pretty decent weakness exploit at 4, and it has agitator 5 just like the previous one. It has a second wind, which means that your uptime for maximum might should always be up. But now we're leveraging the Gore Magala set bonus, which applies a frenzy status to you, which is a bad thing. However, what happens when you recover from this with the antivirus decorations is that you get plus 25% affinity after the Gore Magala frenzy debuff has passed. Now, this set is just not too bad. It's not really that different from the other one, but the fact that you're using something like the Gore Magala bonus makes it quite interesting. It tops off at about 1,384 attack at about 55 to 80% affinity without the weakness exploit, meaning that if you add the 30% of weakness exploit affinity that's possible, it's about 110% affinity. So you can essentially hit 100% affinity with this. And so with Rocksteady Mantle, or if you want to use the Corrupted Mantle, you can pretty much guarantee 100% affinity with it. So that's pretty good. But it is pretty close to the reliable set. It's just now you're trading away some weakness exploit for more of a affinity bonus from the Gore Magala set, which is pretty decent. It's pretty decent.